Hey everyone, how's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode, Coffee with Coach. Hope you're up doing well, got the mind in the right place. If not, let's put it in the right place. So today, again, going through my routine. It's been a minute since I've did one of the episodes, but got to get this one out for a couple reasons. I was just talking to some individuals over the weekend, and they're going through some tough times, through some tough things, and feeling a little down and out, a little weak. And so on my run this morning, I got my 3 miles in already, and I'm listening to some Jocko stuff, and he's talking about strengths and weaknesses. And so it just kind of fits, with what some of the conversations I've had recently with when I was just listening to. So I wanted to share it, put it out there. So basically just, everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Everyone. Doesn't matter how, what kind of skills, talents you got, or you don't, think you have skills and talents. Everyone has some type of strengths that they're things that they're good at. And then every one of us all have things that we need to work on. Okay. And so that's just life, period, where we just need to, take a step back, and try to look at what it is that we need to fix, because there's always something to fix. There's always room for improvement in all areas of life. And one thing that's for sure helped me with realizing that is jujitsu. Jujitsu is just something that's never ending. It's always evolving and developing, and you're always going to struggle and have a difficult time at some point with it. And that's basically life. Life is that. It's just a big puzzle that you always have to just constantly have to move pieces around and try to get them to fit, to try to get things to work out the way you want them to work out. And sometimes they just don't. And so you have to keep working at them. So what Jocko was talking about in this, it really wasn't a podcast. It was like a motivational compilation video while I was running, where he's just saying, we're all weak. We all have weaknesses, and those weaknesses can become our strengths. If we recognize them and address the weaknesses, they can become actually something that becomes some of our strongest points. And I totally believe that, because there's just things where I was weak at. I just didn't know what I didn't know knowledge-wise. I just didn't know certain things, and I do now. Because why? Because I had to educate myself. Either someone helped me along the way and got me started, and then I continued down that path of education, trying to figure things out. I give you an example, like business. Didn't know anything about business when I first started my academy 14 years ago, and I am a much more knowledgeable business owner, and still have a lot more to learn and implement and do. But 14 years versus my first year is a world of difference, right? Same thing with my jiu-jitsu. My first year in jiu-jitsu versus 20-something years later, definitely a much more skilled and more knowledgeable individual. Finances-wise, from when I first started with my first credit card to my first loan to my first whatever, to now having all the loans I've had throughout life, and the things that I've had, and the homes that I have, and the cars and everything like that, like much better at my finances. And the list goes on. And so there's just always something that if you're weak at, let's say it's relationships with a friend, family member, loved one, or whatever, those things take time to develop and learn, the good things and the bad things and what needs to be fixed, and you can fix them. The problem is, guys, is when we think that our weaknesses are just that, and they're going to stay that way. And they will stay that way if you don't address these issues. And I guess that's where I'm going to with this episode, is like some people, when they get down and out on themselves about some of their things that are going wrong, their weaknesses, it's not permanent, but they think in their mind. Their mind isn't just wired right. They need to rewire it, because they just think it is the way things are like they're going to stay that way. And they're not going to stay that way. They won't stay that way. But if you don't address the issues and you don't make any changes, okay, you don't try to fix the relationships that aren't that aren't right. You should not, don't try to fix the finances that aren't right, or just whatever else in life, or let's say your jiu-jitsu game that you don't want to change it because you're comfortable with certain things. It won't get better. It won't get fixed. It won't grow. It won't develop. It won't move into a better direction. Because why? Not because um, it just won't happen. It's just because you just won't let it happen, because you're not trying to fix those things, And so one of those things I'm trying to explain to some people that are kind of struggling with certain areas is like, it doesn't have to stay that way. Okay. And when I hear the stuff like with Jocko and stuff like that, it just reinforces those things. It helps me with those things, because again, just like everyone else, I have weaknesses and things that I struggle with and I go through. And it's just like, man, it's just a matter of me just continuing to get better, to learn, to fix the things that need to be fixed. So that's what we need to do. We need to address those issues and make the things that we are not good at become things that we are really good at. And I 1000% believe that, because there are so many things in life that I was not good at, because I just didn't know what I didn't know. I just wasn't knowledgeable, or I was just starting out, and it sucked. I sucked at whatever it is I was just becoming. I was just starting at, but over time, it didn't stay that way. I got better at certain things. And I try to continue to get better. At times we plateau, we kind of just get comfortable, get complacent because we feel good in a certain area. I am definitely guilty of that in a lot of things, where it's like, well, I'm good here. This feels good here because I worked really hard to get here. And I want to kind of enjoy it for a moment. But then, I listen to the things that I listen to, and I hear the things that I hear, and that's not it. The thing is to keep moving and don't plateau and don't get comfortable and don't get complacent, because that's where the danger lies. And so I, again, 1000% believe that whatever it is that you're not good at, whatever it is that you're weak at, whatever it is that I'll give you an example. There's a student of mine that just, no fault of his own, he just wasn't taught about finances from really anyone in his family. And so I talk a lot about credit scores and finances and money and just, stuff, being wealthy, trying to, that kind of mindset. And he kind of told me the other day, he's like, I just never heard anyone just openly talk about the things that you talk about. I'm not used to hearing these things. And, with me being a business owner, with me being, the kind of person that I am, like, I like nice things. I want nice things. I like, I want to have generational wealth and, leave stuff for my family behind and not let them have to struggle when I'm not here, no longer here. So, I talk about these things a lot. And so I'm kind of giving him this student of mine, some advice, some tips on some things that can just make just simple changes that can easily put him in a better direction financially, because where he's at right now, he can be better. And if he makes these little changes, this weak area in his life that he's not really good at, because he just doesn't know what he doesn't know, because no one taught him these things, he will become very strong in these areas. And I expect him, because of the things that I'm sharing with him, and I believe he's going to implement these things. And if he does implement these ideas and these strategies that I'm doing, or that I'm sharing with him, I believe that he will no longer become, the finances area in his life will no longer be weak. It will become a very strong area, a strength in his life, that where he can share those things with, he's a young guy, with his family whenever that time comes, or whoever he comes across that may need that help, because that's how you do it, right? You pay it forward. So this weak area in his life, as far as finances goes, I believe he will make this a strength in his life, an area in his life that he's really good at, because why? He's going to attain more knowledge and learn how finances work, learn how money works, learn how credit works, learn how to do all these things that he just didn't know about. And within a matter of a year or two, he will become a completely different individual over time. So just like his jiu-jitsu, when he first started with me, his jiu-jitsu was okay, and now his jiu-jitsu is like really good. He's giving me a really hard time, starting to really struggle with his game. He asks a lot of questions. He's there all the time. He's disciplined as far as his training and stuff goes. So there it is, so it's just a matter of that, like trying to obtain that knowledge, getting around people that know the things that you don't know, and then being disciplined with that and studying it and just getting better at it, and then taking something that's very weak in your life and become strong at it. And with the Jocko thing, the other thing was also the mental thing, like the mental, what he says, when you feel yourself, getting down and out and getting weak, and he just comes in strong, like out of nowhere. He's like, don't do it. Like, like don't allow it to happen. Like, hold the line, basically. He says that phrase all the time, hold the line. Like, get back in there and fight. And I think we don't have enough people out there telling us to get back in there and fight. We have a lot of people that allow us or comfort us, and kind of like get us to accept, like, people need a shoulder to cry on, and you need to let it out. Okay, you need to cry and let it out because you're hurting and you're dealing with some things for sure. Like, let it out. But then after that, man, it's time to get back to work. I've said this multiple times on my episodes, and it's just the things that I listen to. Like, everyone hurts, struggles, dealing with some things, and life sucks at times, but you can't stay there. You can't allow yourself to stay in this mental state that you're in, or physical state if your health isn't really that good. Especially with the stuff that's going on with COVID and everything, that should be a huge motivator for people to just take better care of themselves. And then I'm always talking about, your again, finances, because that's a huge burden on you and your family members if you're not financially set, or, like taking care of those things. And then of course your mental health, if you're not taking care of that and listening to the right things every day and putting yourself in the right mental state every day, when bad things happen, those things will come through and hit you like a storm, and you won't know how to handle those things. So for me, again, like today, it's just, it's a lot nicer out today. It's a beautiful morning out. Got up a little bit earlier, gave a purple belt promotion out this morning, came home, went for a 3-mile run, and doing these episodes, and I already had my shake with my greens in it, and I'm gonna go walk my dogs, and I'm gonna head up to the school. And so it's just, but in the process of doing all these things, guys, I'm listening to the things that I'm listening to. I did 3 miles is, about 30 minutes of just listening to good stuff. As I'm going and doing my daily chores, I'm listening to my motivational videos, or my business videos, or, some real estate videos, or, things about money videos. It's just learning. I was washing my truck yesterday, and my neighbor came across and was talking to me, and we were just conversating, and I was just telling him, because I was listening, I had the phone, I was listening to YouTube and stuff I listened to, and the speaker was on, so I turned it down. And I was just telling him, as I'm washing 3 cars, so I'm out there for like over an hour. I'm washing my truck and then 2 other vehicles, and it's just over an hour of just listening to good stuff. Not Netflix, movies, stuff that isn't going to help me, stuff that's actually going to help me, like keep my mind in the right place, or put my money in the right place, or put my health in the right place. And so all that stuff makes a difference, and it compounds, and it compiles into good stuff. Versus the other way, you don't listen to good stuff, you're around negative people, you're always talking negative, you're thinking negative, it's never going to work kind of thing, and your mind's getting weaker as all that stuff goes on, and then you just give up. And it's like Jocko says, like, don't do it. Like, don't do it. Don't do that to yourself, and then don't do that to the people around you, because they care about you and they don't want to see you hurting. And I have people that are hurting, so I'm doing this episode, and it's very, very tough to watch. And sometimes people try to hurt themselves. They're in this state that they're in, but it's also affecting everyone else, because your family and friends and other loved ones just don't want to see you like that. They want to see you happy. They want to see you doing good, and they want to see you successful, at least for the most part. There's some haters out there. They want to see you fail, and not doing good. But then there's another motivator for me right there. Like, I got so many of those. Like, just can't. I ain't gonna let them win. That's just not gonna happen. So, like, that's another huge motivator for, like, getting my runs in, or my workout in, or my training in, or getting whatever I need to get in Because if I don't, I'm just thinking, hey, then those people win because that's what they want to see me do. They want to see me lose. So that's not happening. So anyways, I'll leave it there, let you guys go. But again, whatever it is that you're weak at can be a huge strength of yours, can be one of your biggest strengths. You just have to work on it and fix it and make it happen. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.